Did you know the average American spends nearly $18,000 a year on non-essential items? That's right, $18,000 on things like fast food, online shopping, and subscriptions we don't even use. It's no wonder most people feel stressed about money. But here's the good news. You don't need to keep up with all the spending to live a fulfilling life. In fact, embracing a minimalist approach to budgeting can help you save more, reduce stress, and focus on what really matters. In this guide, you'll discover how to create a budget that's simple, intentional, and aligned with your values. We'll show you how to rethink your spending habits, cut through the clutter, and make mindful choices that support your goals. You'll learn how to prioritize what truly brings you joy, save for the future, and say goodbye to the financial overwhelm that most people experience. It's time to take control of your money and start living with purpose. By the end of this guide, you'll have the tools to build a budget that empowers you, not restricts you. Ready to change the way you think about money? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Less is more, the mindset shift. When it comes to budgeting, the first step is changing the way you think. Minimalism is about embracing simplicity, and that mindset is key to controlling your finances. If you're constantly distracted by clutter, whether it's physical stuff or endless expenses, it's harder to focus on what truly matters. This is why so many minimalists find freedom in reducing their material possessions and focusing on what adds real value. A 2020 study found that people who live with less feel happier and more in control of their lives. It's a mindset shift, and it starts with understanding that less can lead to more freedom, more joy, and yes, more money. The next part of this shift involves mindfulness. Instead of buying things on autopilot, take a moment to ask yourself, do I really need this? It sounds simple, but this question can change everything. Minimalism teaches us to embrace what's essential and eliminate the rest. A key to this is developing the habit of pausing before purchasing. This pause allows you to think critically about whether the purchase truly aligns with your values and goals. A 2019 study from the University of California found that taking a 24-hour break before buying something reduces impulse purchases by 60%. Adopting a minimalist mindset isn't just about physical objects, it's about your relationship with money. Studies show that people who focus on experiences over things tend to feel more satisfied with their purchases. The shift towards experiences like travel, hobbies, or spending time with loved ones rather than accumulating items is part of the minimalist philosophy. By applying this mindset to your budget, you stop seeing money as something to spend on everything and instead see it as a tool for building a more meaningful life. Chapter 2. Conscious consumption. Quality over quantity. In a world where we're bombarded with advertisements and must-have products, conscious consumption is more important than ever. Minimalism is about focusing on quality over quantity. Imagine buying one pair of shoes that lasts 5 years instead of 5 pairs that wear out in a season. That's the idea behind minimalist budgeting. By consciously choosing quality, you save more in the long run. The key to conscious consumption lies in evaluating your purchases. Ask yourself, will this improve my life or bring lasting value? One study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that consumers who prioritize quality over quantity report greater satisfaction with their purchases. Quality items may cost more upfront, but their longevity often makes them more affordable in the long run. So, instead of spending $50 on cheap items, why not spend $100 on something that will last for years? Another strategy is value-based spending. This is about identifying what truly matters to you. Are you spending money on things that don't contribute to your happiness? Research shows that people who spend money on experiences, like travel or dining with friends, tend to have stronger memories and more fulfillment than those who spend on material goods. Once you determine your values, you can direct your money toward what aligns with them. The minimalist approach to consumption also includes rejecting the more is better mindset. Studies show that excess clutter leads to stress, and the same goes for your financial life. When we reduce the number of purchases we make, we automatically cut down on financial stress. Minimalism encourages us to ask, do I need this to feel fulfilled, or can I live without it? By making thoughtful choices, you'll begin to see the power of saying no to the unnecessary and yes to the truly valuable. Chapter 3. The power of prioritization. Aligning spending with values. When it comes to minimalism, Budgeting isn't just about cutting costs, it's about aligning your spending with your values. If you're spending on things that don't matter to you, you're essentially wasting money. The minimalist approach emphasizes focusing your resources on what's most important in your life. According to a 2018 Gallup poll, 70% of people feel they don't spend money in ways that align with their personal values. This is where minimalist budgeting can help. Start by identifying your core values. What do you care about most? Experiences, relationships, health, or something else? Once you're clear on this, it becomes easier to prioritize your spending. For example, if health is a top priority, investing in quality food and fitness might make more sense than buying new gadgets. A 2021 study from the American Psychological Association found that people who align their purchases with their personal values report higher satisfaction and lower stress. After identifying your priorities, you can create a budget that reflects those values. This doesn't mean restricting yourself to only the bare minimum, it means allocating resources thoughtfully. For instance, if travel is important to you, consider cutting back on things like dining out or buying new clothes to free up money for trips. When you focus on what truly matters, you find yourself spending less on things that add little value to your life. The concept of spending with purpose also plays a huge role in minimalist budgeting. This means not just spending money, but doing so with intention. Instead of buying things out of habit, take the time to ask, does this purchase align with my life goals? Research shows that individuals who spend money on things that support their goals experience greater overall happiness. By being intentional, you avoid the trap of mindless spending that leaves you feeling unsatisfied. Lastly, consider the power of saying no. Minimalism often involves eliminating distractions, and that applies to your finances as well. By saying no to things that don't align with your values, you free up your energy and resources for what matters most. It's a simple, yet powerful, approach that allows you to live more intentionally and spend more wisely. Chapter 4. Zero-based budgeting. Starting with a clean slate, zero-based budgeting is one of the most effective strategies for minimalist budgeting. It's simple. Every dollar has a purpose. Instead of just tracking your income and expenses, you start each month with a clean slate and allocate every penny to something specific. This method forces you to think about your priorities and take control of your finances. Research shows that people who use zero-based budgeting are more likely to save, reduce debt, and improve their overall financial health. In fact, a 2019 study found that zero-based budgeting can reduce unnecessary spending by up to 25%. Why does zero-based budgeting work so well? It removes the habit of spending mindlessly. If you've ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and wondered where your money went, zero-based budgeting can provide the clarity you need. By assigning every dollar a job, you stop relying on leftover money and instead allocate funds based on your needs and goals. This strategy also helps identify areas where you might be overspending, like subscriptions or impulse purchases. For example, many people forget to cancel unused subscriptions, which can add up quickly. It also promotes long-term thinking. With zero-based budgeting, you're always considering future goals, whether that's saving for a vacation, building an emergency fund, or paying down debt. You won't just be concerned with making ends meet for the month, you'll be budgeting for the life you want to create. A 2021 report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that people who budget with intention are 60% more likely to reach their financial goals. That's the power of having a purpose for every dollar. In essence, zero-based budgeting aligns perfectly with minimalist principles. It's about being intentional, focusing on what matters, and removing the excess. By starting fresh each month and making deliberate choices, you begin to see exactly where your money is going and where you can cut back. Chapter 5. Mindful saving. Creating space for future intentions. Minimalism isn't just about cutting back on spending, it's also about saving with purpose. Mindful saving is about being intentional with your savings, knowing that every dollar saved has a purpose that aligns with your long-term goals. A study from the National Endowment for Financial Education showed that people who practice mindful saving are more likely to have emergency funds, less debt, and more financial security. In other words, mindful saving isn't just about hoarding money, it's about creating a financial cushion for your future. Start by identifying your financial goals. Whether it's buying a house, traveling, or retiring early, having a clear goal helps make your saving more focused. Once you have a goal, set up a plan to reach it. One strategy is the 50-30-20 rule. This rule suggests that you allocate 50% of your income to necessities, 30% to lifestyle expenses, and 20% to savings. According to a 2020 survey by the U.S. Bank, 60% of Americans who follow this rule report feeling more secure financially. The simplicity of this method helps you stay on track without feeling overwhelmed. Another mindful saving strategy is automating your savings. By setting up automatic transfers to your savings account, you make saving a regular habit. This approach has been shown to increase savings rates significantly. A 2021 study by the American Bankers Association found that people who automatically transfer funds to their savings accounts save 30% more annually than those who manually transfer money. Automating your savings takes the stress out of budgeting and ensures you're consistently building your financial future. It's also important to remember that mindful saving isn't just about putting money away, it's about being strategic. Think about where your money is going. For example, if you're paying high interest rates on credit cards, it might make sense to allocate part of your savings to pay off that debt rather than just putting it into an emergency fund. In fact, the average American household carries around $6,000 in credit card debt. Tackling high interest debt can save you more money in the long run. Mindful saving isn't about living in scarcity, it's about making space for the things that matter most. By saving strategically and with intention, you're setting yourself up for a life that's financially free and aligned with your goals. Chapter 6. The Freedom of Financial Simplicity. Living with less, but having more. Minimalism is often misunderstood as a life of deprivation, but in reality, it's about embracing financial freedom. When you spend less on things you don't need, you create space for the things that truly bring you joy. The freedom of financial simplicity comes from recognizing that living with less doesn't mean you're sacrificing happiness. It means you're choosing a life that's more fulfilling, less stressful, and more focused on your values. A study by the American Psychological Association found that people who simplify their finances report less stress and greater life satisfaction. One of the key benefits of minimalist budgeting is the ability to focus on what truly matters. When you're not bogged down by unnecessary purchases, you're free to invest in experiences, relationships, and personal growth. Research consistently shows that experiences, such as travel or spending time with loved ones, contribute to lasting happiness more than material goods. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who prioritize experiences report greater life satisfaction than those who focus on material possessions. Another advantage of financial simplicity is having the freedom to make choices based on your values rather than your financial obligations. When your budget is lean and intentional, you're not constrained by debt or unnecessary spending. In fact, one of the greatest freedoms minimalists experience is the ability to say no to things that don't align with their goals. This can free up not only money but also time, as you stop spending both on things that don't matter. A 2022 study by the University of Chicago found that people who reduce their material consumption report greater time freedom and less anxiety. In the world of minimalist budgeting, less isn't just more, it's enough. You don't need to be constantly upgrading your lifestyle to be happy or successful. Instead, by focusing on your values and goals, you create a life that's centered around what truly matters. A simple life, free of clutter and excess, can bring more peace, joy, and financial security than a life full of stuff. By embracing financial simplicity, you unlock the freedom to live more intentionally. You create space not just in your budget, but in your life. When you're not weighed down by consumerism, you have the mental and emotional bandwidth to focus on what truly makes you happy, whether that's spending time with loved ones, traveling the world, or pursuing personal growth. In the end, minimalism isn't just about spending less, it's about making room for more of what truly brings value to your life. And when you do that, you'll find that you don't need more money to live a rich and fulfilling life. You just need to embrace the freedom of financial simplicity. If you found these strategies helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on minimalist living and mindful budgeting. Living a simple, purposeful life is just a few steps away.